Hello, my lovelies. It's your girl, Ria, and I'm happy to welcome you to my second channel, where I read and react to Reddit stories. I'll mostly be reading Am I the Asshole stories, but if that well dries up, I'll also read from, Just Know stories, wedding disasters, nightmare neighbors, and even some gloriously petty revenge stories. Yes, your girl is unveiling her petty bench. Anyhow, if you have any Reddit stories you'd like for me to react to, please feel free to comment them here, or just message me directly on Blue Sky for now, since I've completely abandoned Twitter. This channel is a work in progress, so bear with me as I find my stride. With that in mind, let's get started with my very first Am I the Asshole story. Am I the asshole for asking my half-siblings and their mother why I'm supposed to care about my father cheating on her? This story comes from Primal Swan 900. I, 25 female, don't have a relationship with my father anymore, and a very limited one with my half-siblings, 14 and 15. And I never had a relationship with their mother, who is my father's wife, and his former mistress / other woman / affair partner. When my mom was alive, he was cheating on my mom with his current wife and some others. But current wife was the main affair partner. I learned this a few weeks after my mom died because my uncle and my father were fighting about it. Seems like my uncle found my father and his second wife together when my mom was in the hospital dying. My mom had been sick for all of 3 weeks before she died, and my father was very clearly with these other women before that too. And she even knew that his wife was dying in the hospital, and she chose to marry him a few months later anyway. Yeah, that's an interesting lady. I was so young at the time that it was traumatic going from a healthy-ish, mom had asthma, mom to a mom who had the flu and then pneumonia and was then gone in a 3-week span. Then to find out that the parent you were left with was a disgusting, filthy cheater who couldn't even be there for his daughter when her mom was sick, and then remarries after less than a year to the woman he was with when she was saying goodbye to her mom. My relationship with my father never recovered from me learning the truth. I never liked his wife, and I made sure to shut her out any time she tried to get close to me. I did develop a relationship of sorts with my half-siblings, but there were tensions there because they know how I feel about their parents, and they take offense to me not giving their mom a chance. They're her kids, I get it. Now they've all learned my father has cheated on her, and she reached out to me to cry about it, but I shut her down and told her to go to hell. Then my half-siblings said they needed to talk to me, and they gave me hell for not being there for their mom, and to imagine how devastated she is. I know they're young still, so I'm trying not to be too hard on them. I did make it clear that I was not there for their mom. They tried to defend her, and she told me she never did anything bad to me, and I always treated her like the enemy. I reminded her that she was always one of the villains in my eyes. And then I was told yet again that her father had hurt her, and how she deserves better, and she needed help, and that she was cheated on. I asked, why am I supposed to care when she's nothing to me, and she was one of the other women in my parents' marriage? My half-siblings told me she's their mother, and I should care about her for them, and how they don't want me as a sister if I take so much joy out of their mom being cheated on. I'm sorry, how you get them is how you lose them. Sorry. I told them that was okay and I'd just leave. But they said I really should care when someone's cheated on because it's bad and dangerous, and they scrambled to come up with other stuff. Their mother said I shouldn't be talking to teens like that, and I told her she needs to stop her kids from bringing me into this. I wanted to figure out if I was wrong to ask that in front of my half-siblings especially, so am I the asshole? No. I'm sorry, that's karma, bish! That's karma! Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. I get it. She's their mom. They're going to love their mother. I will never fault a child for loving their parent, especially when the parent is an actual parent to them. I'm going to put that caveat out there. I completely understand where these kids are coming from. And also, they're kids. I know 14, 15 was what they mentioned. They didn't mention their genders. It doesn't really matter. They're kids. I get it. But I genuinely don't think that OP is an asshole. Because in all honesty, like I said earlier, how you get them is how you lose them. And if they're going to cheat with you, they're going to cheat on you. And and the thing is, if they're going to keep pushing, then they're going to get an answer. If you don't want the answer, don't ask the question. Cheaters are going to cheat. The woman knew what she was getting into, and she can't be all surprised Pikachu when it happens to her. She wasn't the only affair partner. So yeah, now, to your point, Could you have been softer on the kids? In a perfect world, maybe. But in all honesty, they pushed you and that was your knee-jerk honest reaction. There's no sugarcoating that. She is the other woman. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And you may do everything in your power to repent for cheating and causing harm unto others. That does not seem to be the case with this couple. So I'm sorry, there's no redemption. Therefore, no mercy, no sympathy from me. With regards to the kids, though, they are old enough to understand at least cause and effect. They are old enough to understand that their mother, they may love her, and I get it, that is their mother. They are allowed to feel sad and want the best for their mother. That does not negate the fact that their mother caused you harm, and you are under no, and I say you as if I'm talking directly to the OP, but their mother caused OP harm. OP is under no obligation to feel sympathy or to feel as if they have to forgive this other woman. Under absolutely no obligation to do so. The only thing that OP is responsible or should do is be courteous and basic human decency. Beyond that, she's under no obligation to like the woman. She's under no obligation to go out of her way for the woman. She's under no, there is no obligation there. There is no emotional or societal debt to this woman. The extent of OP's kindness, or that the world at large would view as obligated to anyone in this, is OP is present for the kids because they're her half-siblings. You can be there for your half-siblings, your siblings, for whomever, even if you don't agree or care about the situation. Basic human decency doesn't mean that you have to care about everything somebody else cares about. Just being there for the people you do care about is the extent of it. Does that make sense? Anywho, let's read some comments. Croft Survivor says, tell your siblings to just give the other woman a chance after all. She never did anything bad to them, and she's not the enemy. They're old enough to learn that how you treat others will come back to you, and mom is getting her karma. Succinct, to the point, better than what I said, because I ramble. Crazy Carousel says, ask them how you feel about their dad's latest mistress. Bet they don't like her and think she deserves more. They're old enough to know basic logic. Like, if their amoral mother helped wrong you, you're not going to be her bestie. They're also old enough to understand the truth and the consequences of that. But they're choosing not to because it's inconvenient for them. In response to that, OP says, oh no, they definitely hate the new woman. But they expect it to be different with me and their mom. I know some of that is age and because they love their mom. I don't know how likely it is that they come around to see my side, but I won't lose sleep over it if they don't. Not the asshole. She effed around and found out. Sounds to me like karma was cleaning up. Your siblings, like you say, are young. Perhaps sit them down and ask them about how hurt and upset they are. Then ask them to imagine feeling all of that with the addition of their mom passing. Not in a cruel way, but to try to get them to understand your perspective. Let them know you're there for them, but you won't compromise your boundaries with their mom. As for your dad, wow, just wow, what a catch. I hope you're able to heal from all the hurt he has caused you. To that, OP responds, I'll never speak to him again, which is the best healing I'll get from him. Which is fair. Which is fair. Am I the asshole for refusing to apologize for slapping my boyfriend when he smashed our birthday cake to my face? This story is brought to you by Known Initiative 7193. My, female 34, boyfriend, Charles, male 38, and I celebrate our birthdays together. This year, I contributed a small private room at a restaurant and we invited 11 people. 4 of them are my local friends. The rest are his family members. I wanted to celebrate a new achievement in my career and thought it would be great to just splurge a little and get some delicious food. My kind of woman. So we had access to the menu, drinks, and our cake. I had agreed to pay 1/2 of the food aside from having rented the small space myself. The space was paid for in advance, the food at the end, as in any restaurant. We had issues last year because I felt that he was doing low-effort things while I always did my best to give him a nice birthday celebration. We have an income gap, But it wasn't even about the money. I was making less money last year and I was still making things work for him. So this year he took care of inviting people, paid for the cake, and got me a spice rack as a present, which I loved. I made myself pretty, got my eyebrows and eyelashes done, had my hair done. We were told to pose and pretend to blow out the candles, because I don't want to blow our germs onto the cake. Then we each had a picture alone with the cake. When it was my turn, I was holding the cake when he pushed my face towards the cake, so I tried to fight it. His family started cheering and he arched over my body and forced me to bend over until my face smashed into the cake. Do people not realize that some cakes have stakes in them? That could end in an accidental maiming, among other things. Okay. My friends tried to get him off me, and he resorted to plastering cake and frosting in my hair. I don't need to describe the mess because I'll never be able to end this post, but I ended up slapping him when he attempted to do it again. Good! Sorry. Technically, I don't condone violence, even though I say I believe in violence. Yeah, his mother got up and she got into an argument with one of my guests. I had to cross the main floor with cake all over my face to use the restroom. When I looked in the mirror, I had cake on my neck and my blouse had red and blue coloring that didn't come off. I had to wash my face and got my hair in a bun because it looked less messy that way. When I came back, his family were all long faces. I told him what he did was unacceptable, and he said it was just a joke. That everybody has done that for ages, and that me slapping him just ruined my image in front of his family. I started crying and gathered all my stuff to leave. I notified him that he should pay for himself and his guests. My friends insisted on paying for their own food, but I refused, and we ended the night right there. My friends wanted to treat me to having dinner elsewhere, but I wasn't comfortable with my appearance. They ended up sending me the money that I had spent, and that just broke my heart. Charles had to pay for 1/2 of the remaining bill and got charged a cleaning fee. I still love him. Why? I'm sorry. I still love him, but I'm clear that I'll never be able to forgive him. We talked about it, and I ended things. He's convinced that I never loved him. He acknowledged that what he did was wrong, but is adamant that his family hates me for slapping him, and that it's my fault. I told him that he ruined not only our birthday, but also my way to celebrate my career milestone. I worked very hard to get to where I am, and that his behavior showed me what my future will look like. And that I'm sorry to say it, but he was so aggressive and so focused on making his family laugh at my expense that I just realized he's not good enough, and that I've lost my confidence to be seen with him in public, because I don't know what else he will pull out of his ass. He said he paid for that cake, that he's not saying that it was okay to smash it, but it's not like I paid for everything. He wanted me to apologize to his mom, but I refused. Important. I'm not proud of my reaction. We've never had any physical altercation. He says that his mother feels humiliated because of what I did and that she's struggling with mild depression for years. I didn't know. And this came off as violent. Am I the asshole for refusing? I already blocked him. Edit. His guest paid for the other half of his bill after being told they needed to not pay for anything. You are absolutely not the asshole. I mean, in a perfect world, we would all have like a PR script in our head for every situation. And yes, violence in response to violence should never be the answer. But as I responded with a good a little earlier, that was assault. And also, something to consider is that a lot of cakes, especially the fancy ones, especially the multi-tiered ones, they have stakes in them. Wooden stakes, like pencils, holding them in place. Yes, he's the one that bought it, so he knew that those weren't there. But that's where my brain went. Because just like, he caused you harm. Or listen to me saying you as if I'm talking directly to the OP. He caused the OP harm, and she just reacted in the heat of the moment. Getting this man off of her. And sometimes if you want to get somebody off of you, you do have to resort to violence. In that moment, he was shoving her face into the cake and smearing it into her hair, her clothing. Absolutely not. In all honesty, I cannot say that I wouldn't have done the same in that situation. Again, perfect world, we all would have a PR script for every situation, but we don't live in a perfect world. In a situation like that, If that were to happen to my friend, I would have been arrested. Let's just put it that way. If that were to happen to my loved one, I would be arrested. Yep. Anywho, let's go on to some comments. Fun Ideal 5584 says, his mother feels humiliated. You came off violent. Did you not see what happened to you? Fun Ideal reiterates, when it was my turn, I was holding the cake when he pushed my face towards the cake, so I tried to fight it. His family started cheering, and he arched over my body and forced me to bend over until my face smashed the cake. My friends tried to get him off of me, and he resorted to plastering the cake and frosting on my hair. How does one do this to their future spouse, then act like it was nothing but a fun time? Yeah, that's another thing. If your face is literally all up in the cake, right? It's dark. It's disorienting. You probably can't breathe because of all the sugar. You probably came out with diabetes after all that. Your friends are trying to get him off of you, and you hear this commotion. I'm surprised slapping him is all she did. Oh my gosh. Jumpy U5572 responds this. At my wedding, my husband's family were egging him on to shove my cake in the face, and prior to the wedding, I sat him down and told him I paid thousands for the dress, hundreds for my hair and makeup, and if he pushed cake into my face, it would forever taint our wedding day for me because it's not funny. It's embarrassing and cruel. He said he was not going to do that to me, and they called him a wet fucking blanket for respecting that I didn't want that. People want to see others embarrassed, and it's so fucked. That is true. There are people in the world that enjoy seeing people humiliated, more so people that enjoy women being humiliated. And yes, we're not making it, this is technically not being addressed from a gendered issue. However, there is an insidious desire to see women be humiliated. And I have issues. I have so many issues. Naive Stable 3581 says, OP, it's obvious he's jealous of your success and is trying to humiliate you. This man hates you. You may not see it now, but you will. No man who loves you stands over you to get leverage so he can force your face into food and then does it twice. My jaw was on the floor. He did this because he's angry your career is better. He wanted to ruin your career announcement and your evening. What's the joke in hurting the person you supposedly love? You have lovely friends, by the way. Dump him. The fact that he assaulted you and thinks all of this is your fault? This guy sounds like he will hit you and smash walls and blame you one day. Dump him, please. Victorian Greyjoy responds to this. The guy's 38 years old and thinks publicly smashing his girlfriend's face into a cake is a good idea. I'm a 39-year-old man and I am unequivocally an idiot. I would never. That's something you do to a 9-year-old, and even then, cautiously. A relationship in your 30s should be about love, support, and mutual respect, not fucking smashing your partner's face into a cake. Jesus Christ. Exactly that. Yes, I understand there are some relationships that they do thrive on these pranks. I know those exist. They're not for me, but they do exist for people. This isn't that. This is malice. This is pure malice. Yeah, this is pure malice. And Naive Stable said it perfectly. This man hates her. This man hates OP. And maybe it is jealousy, or maybe it's just, oh, I finally have an opportunity and an audience. Maybe it's both. But, you know what? Now, the more I think about it, with that knowledge that she has that promotion, has that growth in her life, OP's boyfriend probably thought she was getting a little too uppity. She needed to be humbled. There are men like this. Those men deserve to be single for the rest of their lives. I said what I said. Status Diamond 339 says, not the asshole. The reason being is that you physically resisted having your face forced into a cake. He did it anyways and attempted to do it a second time. I don't blame you for slapping him in that situation. He tried to force you again when you clearly didn't want to. If someone were trying to force my face into a cake I was holding, I would have dropped it right on the floor and walked out the door. I'd be done with that relationship. It wasn't a joke. No means no. He and his family sound like a whole entourage of assholes. OP responds to that, also, I panicked a bit because I was thinking I would get my nose passageways blocked. I have asthma. Yeah, like I said earlier, like, it's dark, she's suffocating on the frickin' cake. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Let me at him. I'm officially OP's friend. I will solve the problem expeditiously. Let me at him. Thank you so much for joining me today on my first ever Am I the Asshole reading. I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though, yes, I did change outfits. Yes, I did have to film across 2 different days. And yes, this will be a regular thing. I will probably change outfits between recordings. Like in the middle, you'll get whiplash from different styling choices. Anywho, so drop a like and a comment below. Share with me your opinions on these incidences that we've read about this time around. I'm hoping to have a consistent schedule, a better intro and outro, but hey, done is better than perfect sometimes, right? So I'm thinking twice a week as far as my Am I the Asshole episodes. If you have any Reddit stories you would like for me to react to, feel free to drop them down in the comments below or message me directly on Blue Sky, and who knows, maybe in the next few episodes I might read it. So thank you so much for joining me. So now it's time for me to take off my face, get into comfy clothing, and go to sleep. Bye.